Hey everyone, Jake here again. I'm at the Nguni lease doing a few jobs today. Thought I'd show you these animals here. Let me get a little bit closer. This is the closest I've ever been to these three. Now what are they? Well, I've got no idea. They really hate people on foot. They are extremely nervous. So the story behind these is somebody put on Facebook in Australia. I got 3 Nguni cows to sell and I hounded them. They didn't respond to their messages. I texted them. I said, I'm a qualified buyer, ready to go, get a truck there next week, no problems, pay cash, whatever. Eventually got back to me and I locked them in. He said he bought them at the local sale and the NVD came from a farm called Genesis, which is the first, I believe the first Nguni stud in Australia, or the first people with, what's happening here? With Nguni genetics. My phone's been a bit slow. And it sounded hopeful, and they got here and they are absolutely crazy. Like, I've never had animals wide like that. They're real liabilities. They're high-headed, they're flighty, on foot, can't get within about 80 meters of them. In the truck, you're all right. You park up next to them in the ute and they'll come for a look. It's about the closest they've been to me. I only put these other animals in with them here about 20 minutes ago. They've been on their own up until then, but I just thought, look, I just need to calm them down and try to build a bit of trust with them. So I put the others in here. We've got a few Nguni steers, a couple first cross cows, a couple jerseys. There's an Nguni steer there with them now. And looks like they've actually calmed down. I'm about to just check their water trough and everything in there. Feel like I'm taking my life in my hands a little bit. I'm not convinced they're Nguni. I've taken some hair samples. I'm going to send it off for DNA, but to me, this one on the left, maybe. That one on the left, maybe. I'm thinking they're probably more like second cross or first cross, but I've contacted Genesis, that stud up north. I've met them before and I've asked them and I've sent them photos and details, but I haven't heard anything back yet. So we'll see, I guess. They've all been joined with a pure Nguni bull. But I'm just so desperate to get my pure genetics up, and pure animals are so expensive and hard to find, hard to buy female lines. Nobody wants to part with purebred female genetics. You get a bull pretty easily. That one on the left looks like she's bagging up. The one in the middle actually came with a bull calf who I marked and put out with another mob. I weaned it straight away because she was so nuts. I thought, geez, I don't need her getting around a paddock with a calf. I'll never catch her again. Our facilities aren't good for jumpers. And yeah, the one on the left looks like it's bagging up, but to me it looks like it's crossed over some sort of Hereford base or something. All right, what do you think? If you're an Nguni aficionado, what are those 3 animals there in the middle? This is our pastured poultry paddock. We've got 2 eggmobiles out at the moment. They're portable egg structures that we've actually built on caravan chassis. You can see my Maremma up here in the shade, but we buy old caravan chassis, wreck them down, build these up on top. I actually sell plans for these on my website. Actually, if I don't mind saying so myself, I actually sell beautiful plans. I think they're like 40-step CAD drawings, cut lists, part lists, the whole thing. And the chooks, they hang out in there, they sleep in there. They're solar-powered automated doors, roll-away nest boxes on the back, skids for feed. And they can fit about 400 each. Between those two, we've got about 700 chooks at the moment. I've got another eggmobile over the hill, which we've just destocked and pressure washed out, gave it a good clean. And I've got a semi coming here next week to tow that up to the new farm. And then I'm going to be taking about 350 of these chooks home. They can hold 400 each in terms of, a comfortable perch space for the birds to roost overnight. But what we found when we ran those numbers initially was the heat generated from the birds overnight in summer became a bit much. And we found if we put some insulation in them, thin insulate under the corrugated sheeting on the roof, and we open up the sides with mesh because it used to be fully clad in, which was the initial plans I copied from Richard Perkins at Ridgedale up in sort of northern Europe. Obviously a lot colder climate. So we've adapted them to the Aussie climate, and we just found getting those few birds out, they're a lot less panting. In the early days, we had a couple mortalities overnight. That never happens anymore. So the heat stress is all sort of taken care of with those few tweaks. You can see the color of the grass. I don't know if it comes out in the picture, but you see up to there how dark and lush that grass is. And then afterwards it becomes a bit of a lighter shade of green. This dark patch here has had the birds run over it. We try to move those structures a couple times a week, just one length forward, just keep them ticking forward. If they spend too long in one place, they scorch the earth. Too much just harsh energy hitting the ground in their manure. But about, 4 days worth is absolutely beautiful. The soil metabolizes it really quickly, and you just get this sensational feed. Great finishing country, great country to keep animals fat in, which is one of the things people say, why Nguni? Look at your green grass. Well, folks, if you've got an animal that can do well in harder times, how's it going to do in better times? Should still do fine. And reality is our climate, we're still Aussies, and we can be a completely brittle environment for 4, 5, even 6 months of the year in a bad year. It's nothing to dry off in December. It's been a bit later lately, like we sort of, last couple of years, maybe we're sort of getting a little bit of green pick all the way through to January, but it's nothing to be completely dry in December. My birthday's in December, and I remember as a kid, I'm December 6th, I remember doing pool parties and everyone just turning up and just being under sprinklers because it was just stinking hot. And then it can stay like that all the way through March. And you don't sometimes get a nice break until Easter in April. So anyway, I'm going to run some water in. I've got a pipe here. This is just a key. We use these all over the farm. I've got 1.25" poly pipe buried underground. And then this is called this assembly is what I refer to as a turf valve. I guess that's the key, and then that's the valve, and it's just pressure censored. So I've got a pressure pump, little solar pump, pushes out about 60 to 70 psi all the time, it sucks it out of a dam. I've got about 2 kilos of this 1.25" pipe buried around the farm. Really, I can get water anywhere with about a 50-meter hose, and the chickens, we actually run their water through a 6mm internal diameter air hose, because you can buy them in 300-400 meter lengths. They're cheap, they're rubber. Leave them in the sun for 3 or 4 years, drive over them all the time. All the fittings are brass. They've got quick coupler attachments. They're just sensational. But with this is just a little bit of an extension, because I like to keep pretty short pipes on the portable trough. So I'm just changing their water source, because I'm just actually moving them a little bit. So I'm not gonna, I should turn that on and see if it flows. These cattle are already a lot more relaxed since I've added these freshies. Where's Sandy? Hey, Sandy. That guy there, he's a purebred steer. Bit shitty, mate. Absolutely gorgeous animal. Nice longhorn style rack, and he's our lead cow actually. He's fat, he could go to market, he'd be beautiful eating, but he's our lead cow. Keeps everyone coming through the gates nice and orderly. So he's bought himself reasonably permanent residence. People on farm tours love him. I'll probably take him home to Amalgama at some stage. Anyway guys, thought I'd show you these rodeo cows I acquired. If you have any input as to whether you think there's any Nguni in them at all, or how much Nguni there might be, I'd love to hear your impact, because I'm sort of scratching my head and shy of a DNA. There was actually a fourth, pardon me. If you watch my videos, you would have seen her up at Wamagama. She's the polled spotted girl, and she's in poor condition, body condition. She got cuts all over her body, and when we got these delivered, these ones were bashing her up in the yards. So we separated her straight away, and I took her home, and that night I had her eating out of my hand. Absolutely stunning, mild tempered animal. The hoses just started pouring through there, so I'll run the trough up there in the back of the ute and get them set up. As always, thanks for watching.